The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
We are off and running on a Wednesday, guys. How are you? Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. He is Dave Sharapan. I'm Matt Perrault, and we are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book is that handle, which is the same handle for Twitter X. If you guys are on there, thank you for watching. We get the replay on Sports Grid TV, where you see Dave quite a bit doing in-game live and myself on the weekends now. And then we've got our replay on Sirius XM channel 159. Dave's going to love today. You're going to love today, Dave. We're talking a little NFL football today. D-Bro, Derek Brown makes his first appearance ever from Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros coming in. I've been angling to get him on the show for a while. He's on the show today. How are you on this Wednesday?
That's perfect. That means I get a half day, like Kendall did yesterday at school, where she got to go to a baseball game for half a day. They made him leave in the third inning.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So they went.
Why?
She texted me and said, "Bro, we're leaving. It's the third inning. It's a bottom of they finished the third inning and then left." And I said, "Do you want me to come get you?" I said, I'm over here, because I stayed over on the other side. Like I saw them.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "We're leaving." Okay. So she had to ride the bus back. I ended up staying all by myself. Some of the other schools stayed until like the 6th. I have no idea why their school left. A couple other schools did leave after 3 innings. Turned out to be a great game, walk-off for the Aviators. Wonderful day spent in the sun and hanging out. It was fun. So, yeah, that'll be like today. We'll do the show up until D-Bro comes. We'll talk. Let him nerd out about the draft and different things. That'll be awesome.
Isn't that always the hardest, though, when you go back to school after like you go do something like that? You have a field day or you have a trip somewhere, and then, oh yeah, by the way, you have to go back to math class for like the last half an hour of school. It's like, come on, it's not possible. Kids' brains are gone.
She's so smart. She's like, she sends a text. Like we have a thread with just me, her, and her mother.
Right.
And she sends us a text that says, "Bro, somebody should just come pick me up." And I'm sitting at the ballpark and I'm like,
she's right.
Okay. Like I'm waiting to say something that I know is going to get us both in trouble.
Right.
The big boss.
Yeah.
So she said, well, big boss answered, "What do you mean? Where are you?" And she said, "We are back at school." And I went, okay. And I waited. And then I said, "I'm at the baseball game. Do you want me to come pick you up?" And then the response was like, she must have been typing something and then put it back. And then Mama said, "He'll see you after school when you just finish the day at school." And I was like, man, that sucks. She's right. Like I wouldn't want to be there.
No.
Yeah.
You're checked out. Like that's see you later. And the worst part about it would be if you walked over to the teacher and said, "Hey, I'll keep her. You guys can go. I'll keep her here." They would have been like, "No." They wouldn't have
not allowed to do that.
Not
I
allowed
found
to do
that
that
out after the fact without, prior authorization, a written permission slip, and all this other stuff. She don't know me from Adam. Like anybody could just say I'm the parent and this and that and keep the kid. They could get in trouble. So
yeah, right. Fair.
It made perfect sense.
It does,
Yeah.
but it's still kind of like, it's my kid, man. Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean? I can't take my kid? Like, let my kid stay here. You want to go back to school? Fine.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I mean, like it says the DNA test is right here.
So Johnny Parlay said that the buses had to be back at school to take other kids home. High school and middle school kids use the bus at 1:20 and 2:20.
There you go.
So that's why they left so early.
Okay.
But see, again, back to what I was saying yesterday about the idea of it's a cashless ballpark, so kind of find a way to make it work out for the kids that don't have iPhones or have to carry around things like that. Like, plan ahead. Say, hey, if you want to take your kid out of school, dismiss your school, go to kids, and they can stay because the bus is leaving at 12:15 to go back to school. And so we're going to watch as much as we can from 11 a.m. to 12:15, and then we're going to have to go and make a decision as to, when we're leaving. But if you want your kid to stay, you can stay. Yeah, planning ahead doesn't really work yet.
I couldn't even buy a ticket in cash when I went to the game.
Yeah, no, you can't use cash. It's cashless. They don't have anything nowhere. Not even like when you go into like the other events.
I walked out. I was standing outside the stadium. And I said, I want a ticket to the game. Well, where do you want to sit? I'm like, I just want to see. I want a standing room only ticket.
Right.
And I went to give them a $20 bill, and they said, we don't take cash. I'm like, this world is different, and I don't know where we're going.
Even in Vegas, right? I mean, it's Vegas.
I was shocked.
It's like, what are we doing? It's Vegas.
Yeah,
like we take cash. No, we're not taking cash. Sorry. Thank you very much.
100% Kendall would have stayed CBW.
Of course.
We would have loaded up peanuts or popcorn or something. And a day in the sun, she had her Aviators jersey on. Apparently the hat didn't make the cut. She thought the hat was going to work, and the hat didn't work. So somehow I got a hat added to my collection.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't need that, but worked out okay.
I mean, it's April for you guys on the East Coast. You're going to be in school until the middle part of June. But for our kids, they're doing all their testing right now. Once they get through the month of April, it's over. I mean, the school year is essentially over. So you start seeing these field trips and these things that go on because, this is
basically a checkout.
Yeah. I mean,
like they're checked out.
Well, they got to take, what they call SBAC, what Kendall and Madeline are taking right now throughout the entire month. It's a pain in the neck. It's 4 hours worth of testing 2 times a week. So it's how the school is graded. It's how the class gets graded. It's how the teachers get graded. Like there's a lot of pressure on these, the administration to get the scores good. So, we get daily texts and emails from the teachers about like, make sure your kids go to school, go to bed early, make sure your kids have a good breakfast, like make sure they're focused. It's like, okay, it's like game time for them because all their stuff comes back. And if their kids all suck, then their job, is in jeopardy. So, but the kids go through all this and now they're like, okay, we're done. Like we gave you that. Now it's time. So once we hit May, it might as well be 6th grade. Like it's, we're done. We're out. Yeah, sorry, Jimmy Football. I know it's cold on the East Coast. It's not here. Vegas is gorgeous right now. This is Chamber of Commerce weather in Vegas at the moment.
Oh yeah, no,
you can't beat 75, 80 right now.
It was perfect. It was literally perfect yesterday at the ball game. I wasn't leaving. I moved it 4 different sections. I walked around. It was great. So, yeah, the cheapest ticket I believe is $14. Who asked that? Yeah, so that was the cheapest ticket. Somebody just asked that in the chat. Oh, Jimmy Jack. Rochester Red Wings is $14. I think it's the same.
Somewhere there. Yeah. AAA. I mean, especially midweek games, like midweek day games, like the business person special. Like, yeah, it's pretty cheap to get in to watch the Aviators. Yeah. All right, so we'll do some football coming up, but let's talk about what happened last night. Basketball, obviously, the Magic smoked the Hawks 120-95. Game somehow stayed under the 219, and even the opener at 217. It fell 215, but Trae Young gets ejected for essentially being a dink. Like he wanted to be chucked out of that game. They were down by 20. Mouthed off to the ref, threw the ball at him, and then hit the shower. See you later. You're going on that. But any takeaway from that game? Anything that you saw that was like, okay, they're better than we think, or they're worse than we think for the Magic?
I was on In Game Live yesterday while it was on, and I told Wetzel and the audience, I'm not watching 1 second of this game.
Wow.
So I will be watching baseball. I meant it. I didn't even see highlights of this game.
Okay.
I didn't watch 1 second of it. So I take nothing away from it other than the Celtics are going to beat the Magic in 4 or 5 games.
Look at the number. Look at the price. The price is minus 7,000 for the Boston.
That's all.
To beat Orlando.
Why would you pay attention to that game last night when you know this is the price? I mean, that's pretty impressive. Like trying to make the plus price for this is comical. There's no system that has a matchup price where one side is minus 70. You got to put up $7,000 to win 100. $770 to win $1. I mean,
It's unbelievable.
What is this?
It's
NBA first round. That's what that is.
It's Orlando who has no shot. 14.5 is the number in the first game. 14.5.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for coming. Appreciate you being a part of this. Like, is it an uncomfortable lay? Yes, CBW. I'm not sure I'd be laying Boston at home 14.5 in the playoffs. No, I'm not really signing up to. I'm not running the window to bet that and delay that coming up on Saturday.
But like win game one and win the series is only 9-1.
Still expensive.
I know, but the price for to win the series is 70-1. They're not going to win game one
70,
and win the series.
Right.
It should be half.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to be 35-1 would be. I saw that last night. I'm going through the win the first game market and win the series. Going, well, this don't add up. How can this be? They're 70-1 to win. That's basically the old, how you doing? We got it up, but we're not really going to take a bet on it.
I mean, 7,000 minus 7,000 on Boston. So you just advance the Celtics to the second round of the playoffs. Jimmy Butler did it again. He went for 38. Steph went for 37. So they both combined. Warriors 121-116 win over Memphis. It was a game until Ja turned his ankle. Like, there was a moment that you thought, man, Memphis is right there. They had a shot to knock him out. And then Ja, came down. I don't think it was anyone's fault. It just was a, ankle or foot in the wrong place. He turns the ankle, and then things really didn't go well from there on out. But Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, I mean, we'll see it tonight with Miami. He's unbelievable. Like, he's just a different dude in the playoffs.
It's fun to see him after the game talking about what it's like playing with them. And, he's like, look, I just got to be Robin. I got Batman right over there. And, the rest of the team he said, we're together. We're on the same page. That's a dangerous team. That is a dangerous team. Now, they were up 20 and Memphis came all the way back.
Yep.
And had it down to 2 at one point.
The lead. Got the lead.
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah, for it was all by a point, but they had the lead, and it was like, okay, and then Ja got hurt, and then I don't know how they equated it to the Houston game at the end up against in the final where they didn't get a shot off, or Houston didn't even get a shot off. Like, how do you not inbound the basketball there? You're down by 3. You have the ball on the sidelines. You have to inbound the ball, and you get a 5-second call. Yeah. Like you can't, you just can't have that happen in that moment. Just throw the ball in. Like, you just chuck it in. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? The same thing, a turnover. It's what happened. You got turned over, and then it was obviously Steph Curry hitting free throws because the guy's automatic at the free throw line. And so that iced the game. And so you end up losing, and even if you were looking for a cover, I mean, I laid 2.5 in game. I took +7 pre-flop. So I middled it, and I got both bets.
Oh, perfect. I
was nervous, though, because Bane had a 3 that he was lining up to take at the buzzer. And then he didn't shoot it. And I was like, oh, okay. I got bailed out by that ball not being put up. But I mean, it's, it was similar to Florida and Houston in terms of, like, you got to get a shot off in that moment. You got to get the ball inbounded in that moment if you're Memphis. But that's just an unfortunate situation for the Warriors. But do you agree with the price in the second round? 188. The Warriors are heavy favorites against the Rockets. I thought the game 1 price was always the series price in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but it's going to be a split.
The Rockets are favored in game 1, and the Warriors are -188 to win the series. This is like, what are we doing?
Hold on. Rockets are now favored.
Yeah, they're favored in game 1. They're saying basically the Warriors are going to be tired from playing last night, so the Rockets have been resting, so they win game 1 on Saturday, and then game 3 or game 2 is won by the Warriors. And then both games in Golden State are won by the Warriors, and it's 3-1. Is that what we're saying?
Kind of. Sorry, Vladimir Guerrero just hit a home run.
No, he didn't.
Blue Jays lead. Yeah, Blue Jays lead 2-0.
Look at Trent is pretty impressive.
In the
the
sixth.
amount he said I would bet my entire net worth that Vlad does not go deep today.
Does not go deep.
Does not go good because it was the number one prop bet I bet MGM today.
That he goes deep.
Yeah, plus 525. That Vlad would go deep. Everybody was on it. That will leave a mark at certain books if Vlad went deep today.
He just did.
Ouch.
Yeah. Watching Strider. I'm trying to watch Strider pitch. I want to see what he looks like. So I got this game on. But yeah, just went deep in the sixth. Nobody out. Wow. So this series price is interesting. You know what people are going to bet. So Warriors have to be favored. But how much are they favored? So you get a debate. Probably you could put it as high as $2. You could put minus 175, somewhere in that neighborhood. They are going to split. If you just look at the games, like somebody was texting me last night, I actually tweeted it too. The only time Houston's going to be favored in this series is if they win both games. Because what this price tells me is that even if they win game one and lose game two, if they win game one before game two's played, they're not going to be favored. Because the assumption will be that it's a split. And then Golden State has home court. So what's the price after 1-1? This is it. That's what they're thinking. Or 2-0. I mean, what if Golden State wins both games? It's
the one weird thing about all of this is that the Rockets are the 2 seed, but they only had 4 more wins than the Warriors did in the regular season. So, like, even though it's 2 versus 7, this is not a very large discrepancy between the two.
No.
And so everyone's going to bet the Warriors because it's Jimmy. We just saw what playoff Jimmy does. Yeah. And now he has Curry. So now he has a major weapon on his side. It's not just Butler by himself like it was in Miami. He had Bam once in a while, but for the most part, it was just him and occasionally Tyler Hero. But now he's got Curry and he's got Draymond and he's, got an incredible coach. He had a great coach in Miami too, but I think it's going to be really interesting. This series, I can't wait to watch this series.
It's going to be great. We talk about it like when we talk about fighting and UFC and what's good for business.
Yeah.
It's good for business. Lakers and Warriors in round 2.
Yeah.
Takes over the world.
Right.
That will be what every TV exec, NBA person wants. I mean, that's so you're kind of assuming that, in the NPCs or the Rockets.
It's so mean. I mean,
and the T-Wolves.
It's funny, I was watching a bit of Fox Sports today, and Craig Carlton was talking about the highest paid player for the Rockets being Fred VanVleet at $23 million. That's the highest paid player that's on this roster. I mean, there's no one on the Rockets that's making real like NBA type 40 million, Steph Curry type 50 million type money. Like this is real. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are just, dudes on a roster wearing a jersey that people are like, oh, right, you play for Houston. Like there's not like a real deep depth knowledge of this Rockets team across the entire country. There will be after this series, but going into this series, it's like, oh, the Warriors win. I don't know if it's going to be that easy.
I don't think it is.
I think it's going to be
a brawl. They had to score 38 and 37 yesterday to win one game. Can you do that every series? Or every game?
Yeah.
I don't know. So the results since Jimmy got to Golden State have been great.
24-7.
Indisputable.
They're 24-7. Like, holy crap.
There's no question. You can't even fight that and say that's a anomaly. That's a random.
Right.
No, that's a good sample size. And the seedings in the West, they're determining home court, but these are battles. I mean, this series is going to be good. I think the Lakers and T-Wolves are going to be better than people think. I mean, it's just going to be an absolute laydown. People are like, oh, the Lakers are going to win in 4 or 5.
I disagree. I'm with you. I mean, who's the post play? I mean, the post play is going to favor the T-Wolves. So I can't wait to see what the Timberwolves strategy is going to be because they're going to have a big advantage. Is where no Anthony Davis comes into play in a big way.
Yeah.
Lakers have got. I mean, Luka's got to go. I mean, both Luka and LeBron will have to go nuclear each night in that series to knock out. And look, I like Anthony Edwards a lot. Guy just had a 43.8 rebound, 5 assist game, whatever the hell it was, in the last game of the regular season. Like he can go and put up crazy numbers if
Yeah.
you're not guarding him. So
Yeah.
I love Ant. I think Ant's got a chance to really make some people go, oh, right, you're that guy. Okay.
And, and the Clippers and the Nuggets is going to be, just
The price
absolutely.
is
You got to stay up late. You guys
The price
back
is-
east are going to have to stay up late because that's
see
going to
what-
be really
Did you
good.
see- Did you see what Sherman wrote as to on our Twitter account last night?
Yeah.
That there were minus
I did
one.
see it.
He's at 125 and nobody will bet them.
Yeah.
He's at LA minus 125. I have plus 135 on the Clippers. It's all the way at minus 125 on the Clippers now. I mean, just massive. And somebody said, watch out for Dave's CLV can. I said, absolutely. You're completely right. Like it is 100% in play for closing line value on this for that. So,
Well, the game one line or game one result will determine where that price goes. That's going to be really interesting too. I mean, Denver's a 3-point favorite, 2.5 in some markets, 2 in others. If Denver wins that game
mhm.
and anything, I don't even want to say it, where guys might be questioned to play the next game. I don't want to say that word.
For the Clippers,
Hurt,
oh gosh, yeah.
injured,
Kawhi.
then shoo, it's going to run, go on. So the volatility in this is going to be.
If I have
This would be
plus
fun
one-
to be working in the room. I could tell you.
Here's a
that.
question. I have plus 135. Is it worth going ahead and taking the other side as well pre-flop? Be plus plus
Um,
and play games
you-
individually,
if you-
knowing.
if you think Denver is going to
don't.
win game one, you should.
Oh, they could win game
If
one.
it-
I don't think
yeah.
Denver wins the series though.
Well, yeah.
So I think it could be 4-2 LA for the Clippers in 6.
If you have plus 125,
35.
it's going to go to minus 200. Well, no, if you take the Nuggets now,
Oh,
it would be
yeah, okay.
plus one at the
Minus 125.
No. You said the Clippers are favored, so the
Yeah.
Nuggets
Oh,
are
sorry.
plus money.
Excuse me. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So it would take plus money. I don't know how much it's going to go up, but it'll be close to $2. So
Boy.
you have a plus 125 and your plus 120 in your pocket on one side, plus 125 in the other. Do what you want.
It's a small little profit, nothing crazy, but I don't know. I think I like Clippers a lot though. D-Bro's here, so we'll get to here in just 1 second. Let's get to the games tonight. The Heat are on the road to the Bulls. Line's now 2. Total's down to 220. Chicago's got some motivation here. The Heat have been the ones that have bounced them in 2 previous play-in tournaments, but the Bulls undefeated this year against the Heat. You're wearing the Bulls stuff, so I'm guessing you're all in on Chicago.
I guess I try to pick what I was going to wear today. I got the Bulls stuff. I said, you know what? It might be the last time I wear it, so I'll wear the Bulls stuff today. I have no idea. I mean, I will watch it a little bit.
Chicago, W.
I would think so.
Josh Giddey's playing. We're good. We're good.
Just like
We're
that.
good. Josh Giddey's playing. We're good. If he wasn't going to play, I would be nervous.
Hoopheads, put it in the chat before we get to the draft talk, which we're going to do here. D-Bros coming up. Bulls or Heat? Who do you got? Type it in the chat. CHI or MIA?
Look at this is where the Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler become sort of like the abominable snowman after he had the teeth pulled. Like they were once scary. They're just not scary anymore. Like they're just not scary.
Are the
anymore.
Bulls like super young?
No, well, yeah, but I mean, you have Josh Giddey has been tremendous for them this year. I mean, he's been great, and so he was questionable, and so like I'm just not afraid. I look at the Miami Heat. I'm not afraid of the Miami Heat anymore. Not at all. Like I'm like, okay, Eric Spoelstra's a great coach. He doesn't play.
Right.
I got the Bulls at home who've already beaten up on this team. Give me Chicago. I have -1. I laid it before the line move.
Look at this chat. This is fantastic. I mean, this is why this is good. T. Boyd says Bulls. B. Rad says doubles. Then Jimmy Jack Heaties. Ryan Coote, Bulls. Santiago Garza, Miami. Mikey Awesome. No, that's not even Mikey Awesome. That's JC from KC playing Mikey
ODU.
Awesome. ODU. Thank you. Joseph Myers, Heat, even if Miami is a bit of a mess right now.
They're a mess. Not afraid of them at all. Give me them.
All right.
And then the Mavericks had an untaped meeting with the media. Nico Harrison, the general manager, yesterday sat down and met with the media, but he told them you can't tape it and you can't videotape it. I'll talk to you, but you can't put it on anything where I can be recorded. You can write it down and take notes like old school, but we're going back to like 1940s. No tape recording whatsoever. And everyone said yes, because they're so desperate to get this guy on the record for why.
Hold on, you froze. Hold on. First freeze goes to Peralt, 25-minute mark. So under 30 minutes mark, we get the first freeze. All right, you're back. Go ahead.
Would, as a media member, if you were covering the Mavericks, would you have gone to that meeting knowing you couldn't tape it?
Sure. But I know how to take notes and then write something after. A lot of people, that might have been the first time they ever had to do that. Wait, what do you mean? Can you imagine?
Yeah, 25-year-old kid going, I got to do what?
Hold on. What do you mean we can't record it? I got my phone. I got this thing, this transcriber thing, whatever. I would 100% have gone. What did he say?
Well, basically said he has no regrets, that like it was done. They're building a championship team. And every time he was asked a really harsh question or a pointed question, the answer he gave was gobbledygook. Like it made no sense. It was just all just like, huh? Like Nico Harrison made, I mean, of all the reports. Now, again, we can't make our own determination for it because it's now through a filter. So we don't get to see him or hear him ourselves. It's now through somebody else's lens that we have to interpret the words that were said and how they were said. I don't know why in 2025 you wouldn't just do a press conference and have a conversation, but fine. With that stated, give me the Kings tonight. Like, give me the Kings. Look, I know people were worried about the Kings and Zach LaVine and everything else. Like, this is 1, 2, 3 Cancun on the highest of levels for the Dallas Mavericks. Like, they cannot wait to get on a plane and get the living bleep away from this entire organization. It's been a clown show. They got to get out and get lost, all of them.
Can you imagine being in Denver tonight and going, all right, guys, let's go. It's been a rough season. Let's win tonight on the road in
Dallas,
Sacramento.
Yeah, Dallas, I mean, yeah.
Dallas, I mean, yeah. So we can go
to Memphis to go play Memphis.
Right.
Get on another plane to go play another game.
Right. To then we do it 2 days in a row, or 2 games in a row, to then go to Oklahoma City and get waxed in 4 games. I don't know. Listen, the playing thing is fun, but yeah, I will be surprised if Sacramento does not win in the form and fashion that Orlando won yesterday.
I agree wholeheartedly. That's a great point. I think it looks very, very similar. You know that light the beam hasn't really been a thing this year.
No.
Let's get it going. Let's light the beam for the Kings in the postseason. Let's make some noise. Let's win this game, and then let's make life a little hell for the Thunder. That'd be fun to push to push them in the 8-1 series.
The Sacramento's going to win tonight. Do you think they're going to go win in Memphis?
No, but I do think Chicago is going to. I do think the Bulls have a really good chance of going and winning
in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So, and it's 4-1. I looked at it last night. Terrell and I were on last night on a live stream, and we were like, "Wow, it's 4-1 on the Bulls to win that game last night and to go ahead and win in Atlanta." So that was pre-flop before last night. So I think the Bulls win.
I wonder what Friday. The line will be in that. We'll see.
Yeah, it's not up yet because we'll see what happens with Trae Young and everything else. But yeah, I would say the Bulls are going to be favored. 1, 2. If they got to win today, obviously.
Right.
Before they do that. But if you like,
4-1 the Bulls, good because I mean they were small 1-point favorites, so it's -120, -120 is like 3. Hey, let me see 3-1. So that's good if you go 4-1.
That market is still up to make the playoffs. Hold on. Nope, they pulled it down.
Yeah.
That's too bad. That was up last night. You can't do that 4-1, but FanDuel had it up. All right. He's been waiting. Let's roll. Dave's favorite topic. I've been asking. Dave's doing this as like, I told Dave, we have to get Debro on. He's like, I have to talk draft. I go, no, you don't have to talk draft.
Right.
You don't have to talk draft. It's fine. Well, I'll talk the draft.
Yeah.
But we wanted to talk to him. He's Derek Brown from Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros, joining us on the Bostonian versus the Book. His first time appearing on BVB. Debro, what's up, my friend? How are you? Welcome to the show.
What's up, boys? Been in the green room. I don't know if Dave's happy to be talking the draft or he's kind of clinching some things right now.
I'm fine. It's good to see you. You look great. That's a nice pullover.
I didn't get the memo. Apparently, we're matching today, Perot.
Yeah.
I was wearing it for you. I was like, he's probably going to pull it out, so I'll pull it off too. So I'm wearing it for you.
I feel left out, to be perfectly honest.
I feel like I got to strip live on the show. And
It's
take
a
it
uniform.
off.
Yeah, it's when you show up to work and the guy's wearing the same thing you're wearing. You're like, what
Yep.
the
You
hell?
turn around and you say, nope,
Right.
nope,
Yeah.
not meant to be today.
Right.
Nope, we're going back home.
What are you doing?
So rumor has it that you were down in Mobile.
Yes, sir.
And you went down and watched all that stuff. My first question to you is, what can you really take away from that to then transfer to draft bets? Like, is there something, one more than the other, or just a general thing that you go, you know what? I saw this, I saw that, and I'm going to bet this.
I think a lot of the takeaways for Senior Bowl, it's kind of validation and just continuing the prospect process. And I think some of this, you hear rumors, like, I was texting Peralt, like, as soon as I heard all of this stuff, like, Peralt, how many weeks ago was I telling you Jackson Dart was going in round one before the mainstream media caught up with it? So,
well, I mean, we had the talk when you were here in Vegas. We were sitting down and I asked you and I said that was what, January, and I was like,
January?
hey, yeah, because when you guys got back, so it was right before. No, it was right. It was a week after the Super Bowl, so it was a week mid-February.
Yeah,
where I said, hey, where is Jackson Dart going to go? Because I think this kid's going to rise. And you said, well, actually, and you could tell the story, but you've been told by people that most likely he's going to go higher than people think.
Oh yeah. I mean, in Mobile, we were hearing from people, and it was numerous people, not just like one random whoever talking about it, but multiple people talking about him going top 15 in the NFL draft. And this is before lines are out, before he's even in the discussion or making it into mocks in the first round, which now that's where he's at. All the lines have moved and stuff like that.
By the way, how did you know? Because I asked you that question. We were sitting in the eating barbecue, and I asked you. So I said, what number do you think he'll be at? You said 21.
Yeah,
it's 21 and a half.
Yep.
Like that's pretty. How did you know that he'd be at that moment from a bookmaker perspective? Why would that be the number for Jackson Dart?
Because you look at the end of the first round, and there's a few teams around there that you can make the conversation. I mean, Pittsburgh was the team that I was specifically looking at, because I was like, we were still like, oh, all the Aaron Rodgers stuff, and does he or does he not? And with Pittsburgh needing a long-term answer, because you knew they weren't going back to Russ. So that kind of seemed the exact spot. If you were going to be a book and make the line, just wrap it around 21 and a half, because all the teams that are at the back end of the first round, they've got their quarterbacks, right. And they're not. They were the low hanging fruit. If you were going to pin this somewhere, it was going to be right there.
It works backwards. Like when you look at that, when you go to make the number, you start with the last pick of the first round and go down and go, okay, where would somebody actually do it? And it comes up right there. All right, I got to ask, D-Bro, what are the Steelers going to do with quarterback? I mean, I've been waiting. I've been going on shows. I've been asking everybody, because I've been saying, I said it last year. I thought I'd rather play Fields than Russ. They got them both. And they did play Fields until they didn't. And then Russ somehow ended up with a bigger contract and more money, and with Jameis Winston in the Giants, which is its own comedy special. Yeah. But what the hell is going on in Pittsburgh? I mean, no joke. Like when you look at it as somebody who analyzes all this, is drafting Dart like realistic? Are they going to do it? Are they going to, if Shador would drop that far, would they do it? Are they going to draft a quarterback this year?
I think there's a few different outs there with Pittsburgh. I think Dart's definitively on the board. I think with all the stuff coming out, and with New Orleans now, everything coming out with Derek Carr, not going to, I mean, right now, I mean, we should just kind of approach this. He's probably not playing at all in the 2025 season.
Wow.
Like everything that we're hearing as far as smoke and and the injury and the timing of this, because it wasn't like we knew he was walking into the offseason with a shoulder injury. So probably, I mean, at this point, the way it's sounding, career threatening, not maybe just 2025. But I think Pittsburgh goes with the rookie. Now, the question is, and I've stayed kind of opposed to this. I love the number that we're getting on Shedeur Sanders, the plus money at the 8.5 right now for the draft position. I've been on the fact that I think he probably still goes top 5. Now, if he does slide, I think that's a team where you're looking at Pittsburgh. Now, they don't have a lot of 2025 capital to borrow from to trade up, but could they go dipping into 26 capital? That's definitively possible. Because, I mean, look, you don't have anything, and we saw last year for Pittsburgh, like, Russ was only going to carry you so far, and that was probably going to be an early exit. And this team has been playing the, we could win with running game and defense and whatever, and it's really, I mean, that they've topped out. So at this point, they got to do something at the quarterback position. Now, whether that's trade up for Shedeur if he slides, I think Dart's a real possibility. If neither one of them, the other thing that's hanging out in the ether is all the Aaron Rodgers mess and stuff. And I think he hasn't signed with anybody for a few different reasons yet, because I think he was trying to force his way to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And Minnesota said, hell no, we're good. Nah, we're good. We don't need your drama. You keep that. Go back to the cave. You're cool. It's all good. We're not about that life. And I think that was the big force of him trying to get to Minnesota and being like, well, I'll play for free. Well, it's okay. We're good. And now that I think Pittsburgh is definitively there, I think Rodgers is just waiting on the fact, because he doesn't want to get Wally pipped. He doesn't want to have another Jordan Love situation. He doesn't want to have the Michael Penix situation of last year. So until he gets enough assurances, it might be until Pittsburgh is on the clock, or maybe a day two thing. We find out Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with Pittsburgh, depending on what they do in the first round and how that conversation goes. I think Rodgers is still firmly on the board as a possibility. I think the rookie quarterbacks and what happens and Pittsburgh's ability to trade up and where Dart goes probably is a big determinant factor too.
D-Bro, let's go to the top of the draft, because I think this year, normally when we're talking about a quarterback going one, and it's pretty much known that Cam Ward from Miami is going to be the first pick of the draft, he's going to go to the Titans, that we normally have more hype or talk or excitement around the player. I feel like everyone is going, Cam Ward is really a bust potential at number one, given how loose he is with the football. He can make incredible plays, but he also could throw 35 picks in his first year in the NFL. What's your feeling about what he'll look like in Tennessee?
Oh, I think it's a wider range that people want to talk about too. I mean, he's my QB3 of this class, and for that reason, because I think there is a wider range and a high probability of bust. Like, I think the high moments of his film and what he does on a down-to-down basis are there. There's also a lot of, and I was massively worried about this when we saw this play out last year for Caleb Williams. I was worried about Caleb Williams' tape and how he was going to transition when everything gets faster in the NFL, when he's forced to play on schedule consistently, and you can't go play flag football, hero ball every single down. Is it great that you have that ability in your tool belt? Sure. But you can't live in that world every single play. And that's kind of what Cam Ward does to an extent too. I think a lot of what we see from him year one is going to come down to two big things. Now, Tennessee feels good about their offensive line. I don't feel nearly as good as Tennessee does. I think you look at offseason moves, throwing all of that money at Dan Moore, who tons of numbers, says that he is one of the worst tackles in the NFL, and they signed him to 20+ mil a year. They feel good about their offensive line. I don't. They also don't exactly have a lot of pass catchers. You got Calvin Ridley, and it's a whole lot of, oh, dear Lord, out there. And so Tennessee, it's going to depend on how well the offensive line gels. And really, they are banking a lot on their ability to coach these guys up and to get them playing as a better sum of the parts as opposed to individual skills at the offensive line level. So I think the O-line and what they're able to add as far as pass catchers in the draft is going to go a long way towards supporting Cam Ward or putting him out there and saying, well, young sir, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah. The show's called Bostonian versus the book, obviously, D-Bro. This guy keeps talking about the Patriots resurgence already, like they're back and, they're going to fix it and, they're going to get this guy, that guy. They already got their QB and blah, 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 blah. Who are they taking in the fourth pick? Are they taking someone with the pick? Are they trading back? That was my research right there. You for the draft. Go.
I was on point, man. It was on point. I mean, all I know with Peralta is I'm not going to get into a Tom Brady conversation on this show right now. That's all I know.
Smart.
That's all I know right now. And honestly, we sit together on the opinions of Tom Brady. So we wouldn't even be fighting anyway. We'd be hand holding. But with the Patriots, I think it's definitive. Like I think it's either take an offensive lineman or trade back. I mean, the other thing about it is we're assuming that Abdul Carter goes inside the top 3 picks. If he doesn't, he is a smash running the card up. I mean, Vrabel's cutting backflips like on the stage at home. Like they're showing him in the war room, like doing the Dan Campbell, like punching tables and stuff. So if Abdul Carter's
to school?
Stick and pick. Where did I go to school?
No, where did he go to school, Carter?
Oh, Penn State.
It's Dave went to Penn State, so that's why he's asking.
No,
He's very happy.
Oh, so you're hoping they take Tyler Warren with the?
I just hope he goes to the Giants because
who Abdul Carter or Tyler Warren?
Because if he goes to the Patriots, he's really going to help the Patriots, and I like Penn State guys in the pros, and then I'm going to have to like talk about it more, and I already know what's going to happen. That would be best case scenario, would it not, D-Bro?
I mean, it would be best case scenario because you're looking at the top blue chip, legendary, like the players that could be franchise changers. I don't think anybody's talking about Will Campbell in that mold. I mean, we're still talking about, okay, can he play tackle? Right. Maybe he's just a really good guard. Maybe he's the second coming of Pete Skoronski. Who knows? So yeah, getting Abdul Carter at that pick, because even if you were staring at, and this is a big doesn't probably happen, but if you were the Patriots and you're sitting at 4 and maybe Travis Hunter and maybe Abdul Carter are both on the board, if that's the case, I think the Patriots would still take Carter over Hunter, considering the moves they made this offseason. Like they've shored up their secondary. You don't go sign Carlton Davis, Teron Oppo, Christian Gonzalez unless you feel really good about your corner room afterwards. So taking Hunter, unless you're going to play him as a full-time wide receiver, probably doesn't make as much sense as, getting a true difference maker pass rusher. And I know they added Harold Landry. That's more of a, maybe a Vrabel's favorite son coming to England. So that, them getting reunited.
Right. D-Bro, in terms of Travis Hunter, like the evaluation, the tape, the time you guys have spent looking at him, if you were his agent, would you say play wideout or play DB or really try to do this and play both?
I don't think he plays both at a full-time capacity. I just don't see that happening in the NFL. Because here's the thing, and let's construct the narrative, boys. Travis Hunter plays full-time snaps at wide receiver and cornerback, and we're staring at it. It's week 5 of the NFL season, and he pulls a hammy, and the team says, oh, wait, you know what? Nah. But we can't have him getting hurt, staying hurt, things like that. And then they shelve that experiment. So I just think that's a lot asking anybody out of just from a conditioning standpoint. And yeah, we could say he's a superhero talent and he's this and he's that and stuff like that. Still, there's other points of like the math doesn't math, like where you're asking just the nuts and bolts of like, okay, if he plays full-time wide receiver and you're going to say, okay, play part-time cornerback, like, does that really work? Like, would you really get to common sense and saying you're going to take him and then pull him off the field, but then you need a CB4 that's going to maybe plays the nickel and stuff. So looking at just the nuts and bolts of like how that could even work from the talent perspective, I think he should play cornerback. I think there is a lot that does not get discussed in his game that where he's got, and it makes sense intuitively. Like if you're splitting your focus between becoming the best tactician at wide receiver and corner, there's only so many hours in the day, boys. So like you can only work on stuff as much as you can. So he's got some things to really clean up at the wide receiver position. Like out there in social media, he had the pro day stuff where he was running routes, a lot of wasted footwork. It wasn't just the pro day. Like that shows up in his tape. So I think he's got a lot to sit here and learn and grow as a wide receiver that does not get discussed about out in the general consensus, but it's there when you turn on the film. It's there in his analytics. So for me personally, I would hate if Travis Hunter went to New England and was asked to play true X from day one. I think he would, and I'll put this kindly, he would have some serious growing pains if he were asked to do that in year one. And we do have the model of that. I mean, isn't that what Vrabel did with Treylon Burks from day one in Tennessee? He was a player that played big slot in college, was asked to go play a totally different position in his rookie season. And that outside of the injuries and all the other conditioning stuff and things like that with Treylon Burks, that didn't go swimmingly. So for Travis Hunter, I hope he goes to the NFL and plays cornerback and he's able to work in as a wide receiver and shore up a lot of the parts of his game that I still have question marks about. So I hope he goes and plays corner. Now, from a money perspective, yeah, I mean, we could all talk about, okay, wide receivers get bigger contracts now in today's NFL. You want to go get your money, young sir? Like, go play wide receiver.
Right.
The other thing is, if he is that damn good at cornerback, then obviously he's going to make his money either way. I think the path is easier for him from the hop to go play corner and do that.
We're in Vegas, despite the fact that the show's called Bostonian versus the Book. Matt and I both live in Las Vegas and have lived here for a while. The Raiders are here, but have been a mess. And the running back position in the NFL has been minimalized and, value this, value that, until Saquon did what he did last year. Everybody's like, oh, running backs are back. Everything's cool. Are the Raiders taking Genty? Like, is it a done deal? Because there's been some steam on his number coming down. Like, he's going to be drafted in the top 7, 8, whatever it is the number is. But, like, the word on the street here is that they're going to take Genty. What do you think?
I think it's a coin flip. I don't think it's locked in. Like, I'm looking at right now on DK's minus 150. If you're looking at just where first position drafted by the Raiders, I would easily be betting the hedge against that, only because this roster needs a ton more than just a running back. And I mean, yeah, they got Brock Bowers. Jacoby Myers is not young, and he's a free agent after the 2025 season. So you need to add there. To me, with the steam really sitting at running back right now, like, I would be spraying the board on all the other positions, like the ones that stand out to me: corners plus 300. The other one that really stands out to me is wide receiver at plus 1,400. Like, you can craft yourself a really easy case that this is a perfect Hetero McMillan landing spot. That's not getting discussed, but it is. I mean, you look at this offense, yeah, Genty is an otherworldly talent. The other thing about it is the Raiders could trade down from this pick, and they probably should, considering all the needs of their roster. So I would go other ways with that. I would go corner at plus 300 or wide receiver at plus 1,400. Not saying that they couldn't take Genty, but even we know Pete likes to run the ball.
Yep.
In a really, really, like, just from a team building process here, they don't have a ton of picks. They have a lot of holes on that roster. They want to try to compete, or at least make some noise and rebuild this team and get it on the good foot. If that doesn't happen in 25, make significant steps towards that in 26. And doing that, I think you trade down, or I think you take a pass catcher here, or you take a corner. They just have too many other needs where I feel like in a draft class that everybody's talking about, and they're not wrong, that running back is so incredibly deep. Why are you going to take Genty at the top of the board when you can go in the 3rd and 4th round, and you could even take the Packers approach and, take 2 guys in the 3rd and 4th, or 4th and 5th rounds, and you can build your running game that way, and then you address running back. Like, that's kind of like the icing on the cake for me.
Let's talk some generalities when it comes to betting on the draft. What will happen next? And by the way, if you're in Vegas, remember, you cannot bet on the draft. It's a week from tomorrow. You can't bet on the day of the draft. You must bet before the draft on that Wednesday at midnight. Is the cutoff in Las Vegas if you're going to be here for the draft. But how many quarterbacks go in the first round? How many running backs go in the first round?
I think the lines are really, really sharp right now for both. I think it's 3 quarterbacks in the first round. I think 2 running backs in the first round. I think there's a possibility we get 3 running backs in the first round, but I think it's more just Genty and Omarion Hampton. I think there's a possibility, considering some of the steam and things that are coming out, Travion Henderson might be in that conversation. I still think he probably falls to the second round, because there's enough there where he's awesome. I love Travion, but his ability to, stay healthy, handle a full workload. He was a part-time guy, really sharing the volume with Quinshon Judkins in his final year at Ohio State. So I think the lines are right now with 3 quarterbacks and 2 running backs going.
All right, last one for me, sir. What are you doing on Thursday next week? Are you do you sit down and just watch it and consume it and eat this stuff up on Thursday and Friday? Or do you watch day 2 too? Like, what does D-Bro do next week on Thursday and Friday? Because I personally will be watching hockey and baseball and other stuff. So I'm just curious what a draft guy like you does on those days.
So I will be live for Fantasy Pros. We will be streaming day 1 and 2 of the draft. So outside of a short bathroom break, I think I'm live for 29 out of the 32 picks, talking football the entire night, which very happy to do it. It's a pinch me moment, get to talk ball for a living. So I will be happily talking ball that entire night. And day 2, I think I'm live for all of the second round and part of the third round. If I was not, to I guess better answer your question here, Dave. If I wasn't live, yes, I would be glued to the TV. We'd be like door dashing in food. I would firmly have my butt duct taped to the couch and just be watching every freaking second of it, dude.
What would you door dash in? If you get a meal, does it matter?
He's a Texas kid. Come on.
Dude, okay. I could take the Texas approach and go and be like, you have a long barbecue conversation here, bro. To be honest, I'm an easy guy. It does not take a lot for food for me. So traditionally, if it's just football, just pizza and wings. Let's just keep it easy. Good. Let's just keep it cheap. And when I say wings, we're not doing any of this fake boneless swing chicken nugget crap. We're getting bone-in wings that you actually got to eat, man. I can't do the chicken nugget stuff.
Wait a minute, Jack Coffee. If you're right, do me a favor and source that correctly. If what you're saying in the chat is real, he's saying that Nico Harrison just got fired by the Mavericks. If that actually, I don't know. Well, hold on. Let's make sure that's not a miss.
Wow.
Right. Our chat's normally pretty good with that because we've talked to them about giving us fake information. But if that's
now too,
if that's true, oh my gosh, that's
maybe you should have let somebody record it.
Right? Maybe somebody should have taped the press conference.
Now there's no taping of it. They could say whatever they want. Well, because of what you said yesterday. I have it here in my notes.
I don't see anything out there.
Yeah,
so I feel like we're getting punked.
That would be nuts if that's true. If they would do it on the day of the game, I don't know if I'm buying that. But anyways, okay. What plays do you like? What are things that people can look at? What bets are you looking at now? Because it's a lot of saturation, like you mentioned. So there's other markets that are available.
I mean, a lot of markets have been steamed. I was really sad. A lot of books didn't post really early lines to really just crush them in EV this year.
Yep.
So right now, it's really, I think the best market for people to be attacking, especially if you're a volume bettor, is to be going at the first position drafted per the teams. Because you can look at some teams have obvious needs, and I feel like the favorites in those markets are wrong. The standouts, everything that I'm kind of looking at, talked about the Raiders earlier. There's just a lot of really good bets that make a ton of sense. Like Buffalo sitting at taking corner first at plus 275 on DK. They've already kind of said that they're going to take a corner with their offseason moves, and they moved on from Kyer Elam, bringing Dane Jackson back. They know what they have in him, and that's more of these are CB3, CB4 on your team. That's an okay thing. Starting opposite Benford, not something you want to be doing. If you wanted to kind of play the edges for the Jets, you get pretty decent money on plus 300 at tight end. If they go Tyler Warren, also I think it's in play for Mason Graham to fall to them. And with a defensive-minded head coach, plus 700 at D-line just screams, plus 750 for D-line screams at me. The Raiders stuff again. The one that I've been hammering, Peralta, and I think I texted you this one, and the line hasn't moved, is the Washington Commanders are just fascinating to me. With their moves in the offseason, bringing in Laramie Tunsil, so the offensive line isn't as much of a concern, bringing in Deebo Samuel. They could go wide receiver, but I think that move probably precludes them doing that in the first round. With the screaming need for me on this team is going safety, and that is at plus 900 right now. Ooh. I mean, losing Jeremy Chin, I don't think there's a world where Dan Quinn wants to walk into week 1 with Will Harris and Quan Martin as the starting safeties, and we got some really good ones here in this draft. So plus 900 for them stands out to me. A few others, just kind of, again, spraying the board here. Falcons need a corner incredibly bad opposite A.J. Terrell. You could even say they need somebody to play and be their CB1 because A.J. Terrell hasn't proven that he can do that over multiple seasons. They're at plus 450 to take a corner. And the last one I'll throw out here, that's a little bit off the board, but if we want to kind of just read the tea leaves, not only from this year, but there was a lot of smoke last year with the Rams trying to make a bid to trade up for Brock Bowers. Now going back to that, where they sit in the draft, do I think they get up high enough for Tyler Warren? Probably not. I think he's gone, probably the floor is probably 10 to the Bears.
Wow.
But if Colston Loveland falls a little bit, I could see the Rams moving up for him, and their odds to take tight end with their first pick is at plus 600.
Is there any shot that Jalen Milroe goes in the first round late if he's the fourth quarterback off the board?
It's possible. I actually was talking to somebody the other day, and there's a lot of smoke that he might go inside the top 12. I don't know if I'm buying it.
Jalen Milroe?
I did hear that.
Jalen Milroe.
Dude, if he goes,
Some Bama guy feeding you this crap, D, bro. What are you talking about?
Dude, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying what I'm hearing, okay? I'm not saying I agree. Milroe is not a first-round prospect for me. I have to be honest, I have a third-round grade on him. I think he's viable to take in the second round. If you want to take the project quarterback and you want to go that route, I cannot wrap my skull around him going round one. The more and more with him getting invited to the draft and the things that I'm hearing in the weeds, I think there's a possibility he does go in the first round. I hope it doesn't happen, but we shall see. I think it's possible.
Do you put much stock in that?
Saint.
Did you? Oh my God! You
Dave is speaking to my heart. That's actually one of the teams that I heard connected to him, and as a Saints fan, like I got memorabilia all up here.
I see it.
I would just give up my Saints fandom. I would say I'm chucking it all. I'm out here. You'd see it like I'm not going to say I'm burning things, but I would be out here like, forget the Saints. I need a new team. I need a new team.
So you think the Saints could take him over Dart? The Milroe goes 9 and Dart doesn't?
That would make me incredibly sad. But I would say looking at the draft classes of past with Mickey Loomis, nothing is off the board. Okay. This is a team that made a crazy trade up. And everybody, when they did it, if everybody remembers a few years ago, we're all like, wow, baby, Lamar Jackson is going to New Orleans. And they're like, hi, Marcus Davenport. And we're like, no, God, you gotta be kidding me, dude. Come on.
That would be something else if he goes up there. Because do you put much stock like Shedeur Sanders not going to the draft? Do you think that signals that he's dropping?
I don't think that. I think that Shedeur Sanders is just, he wants to chill at home, be with the family. You know, okay. I think that's him kind of controlling the narrative and controlling the media exposure. That's Dion telling him, no, we're not gonna. Because you know how mainstream will do that, like ESPNs and stuff like that. Like the camera will be on him the entire first round and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it'll just be a massive talking point. So I think Dion and I'm on the side. I'm pro Shedeur Sanders. He's my QB1 of this class. So I think it's a smart move, him not going to the draft.
Interesting. D-Bro, folks want to follow you throughout your draft coverage. How can they do so?
Dbro_FFB on X, pretty much any social media site. That's pretty much the handle almost every time. And all the work can be found at Fantasy Pros.
Thank you, my friend. I've wanted to do this for a while with you. Thank you for coming on. Enjoy it. Should be a lot of fun. Next week should be fun. It's now officially lying season for you and your industry for the next week. So got to be careful.
God
Lots
bless.
Of smoke out there.
Enjoy that live stream. That is doing work, sir. That is doing work.
I will hope that you will be watching the first round of the NFL draft every second of it, right, Dave? That's what you're
DM me. DM me, bro. Send me a DM.
We'll do.
That's Derek Brown from Fantasy Pros and Betting Bros joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Great to get him on the program.
Gracious.
Could you imagine you watching every second of the draft? That'd be fun. If you were. Have a live stream of you watching the draft. Might be worth the price of admission.
All right. Well, might have to consider that. I'll be in New Jersey, so that'll be good.
Live streaming yourself watching the draft. I'll be on a plane, so I'll get to watch it while I'm flying.
It's late.
The draft, yes,
it
is. Starts at 8:00, right?
Yeah, the hell with that.
Yeah. He's a good dude. D-Bro's a really good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy, and him and I have had some fun text exchanges and conversations. And I met him for the first time here in Vegas in February, and it was fun to get to know him.
I met him too, and
you
know, and like that was. It's weird when you meet somebody for the first time. You're not sure, like, and we were in that environment where I knew a lot of people, and we got caught talking in these conversations. I didn't get to really talk to him very much, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's good to get him on the program, and and he'll. I mean, he went to Mobile. He's been heavily involved in the evaluation process. He watches film, and obviously from a fantasy standpoint and a betting standpoint, that's one of the guys that can cross over. Not everybody can cross over the fantasy and the betting side of things, but he's done a really good job of looking at
in that market. I mean,
two different lenses.
It's not that market. The draft stuff is different. That's a fantasy thing. For starters, but like if you're in it for a long time, it's a unique betting market. And I think you have to have a deep knowledge and understanding of the evaluation process to be good at draft betting.
But that little nugget he gave us at the end, if Jalen Milroe goes in the top 12, what? Like, wait, what are we doing? Like, I love him as an athlete. Like, but he's a project. Like Jalen Milroe is a third round, fourth round project. He's not someone you burn a first round pick with. I mean, the Patriots did great. I mean, Mac Jones could be the same argument. And look what happened. I mean, we didn't learn about Alabama quarterbacks yet. Like, I know Jalen Hurts, but he's an Oklahoma/Alabama quarterback. Like, we haven't learned this lesson yet.
Would it be a bigger surprise that he went in the top 12 than it was when Penix went to the Falcons?
For me, yes. I was stunned at Penix going to the Falcons. That was ridiculous. But I knew that, like, from my opinion on Penix was the injuries. He had 2 season-ending injuries that caused him to me and he was older. I was like, this guy's older, and he's had 2 very serious injuries to his shoulder. That's why I wouldn't have drafted him. But he could throw the ball. There was no debate that Penix could spin the rock. Can Milroe hit the broadside of a barn sometimes? No. Like, he has a cannon. He's one of the best deep ball throwers in college. But you got to be able to do more than just that and run the football to play the position in the NFL.
I would be very, very surprised if he went in the top 12.
I mean, Tush
As
pushes
the
back.
Third quarterback taken? Like, would they take him ahead?
Yeah, of Dart.
Right.
So the bet that I made for the Saints was based on Kellen Moore wanting a quarterback similar to Jalen Hurts to play the position in New Orleans. And that would be Jackson Dart. Taking Jalen Milroe, I mean, the arm talent is very different between Dart and Milroe. So, and they both can run, but Milroe has elite, like, you know, if Milroe played running back, I think Milroe would be like a second-round pick. He's got that type of ability with the ball in his hands. But he's got to learn defenses. He's got to throw touch passes. He has a hard time doing that at times. Like, he can throw the deep ball with the best of them, but that's not just the position. You're going to be able to throw every throw, and that's not what he does. So, my goodness gracious, that would be wild. Roger, I think there is a big difference between Sanders and Milroe. I mean, Milroe is a run-first quarterback. Sanders is not. I mean, Shedeur can throw. Shedor's got arm talent.
Yeah.
He's not very big. I mean, Dart's bigger than he is from a body build perspective. Milroe's a tank. Like, he's a tank. It's going to be scared to see him coming through. So I don't know. I get the point, Dave. I mean, to say that people said the same thing about Lamar, that is true. People did say the same thing about Lamar. It's just Lamar threw the ball more accurately in college than Milroe did. I mean, Milroe has had some really tough games throwing the football. I mean, look at the Tennessee game. Look at the game against Vandy. What was it? He had a couple really bad throwing games, like 3 picks, 2 picks, like just not looking like a guy who knew where the ball was going. And to have him be a pick in the top 15 of the NFL draft. Whew. Okay.
I mean, there's legitimate questions whether he's going to continue playing quarterback.
Same with Lamar, though. I mean, to Dave's point, there were 2.
Well, no, I know, but I feel like it was different because where else was Lamar going to play?
Heisman, I mean, wide receiver. I mean, that was the big question with him. That
I know, but
speed and size would be wide out. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it's
with Milroe, you can see him playing another position
because of his bulk.
Right.
He played tight end. I mean,
yeah.
he's huge. Yeah. So, boy, that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. And you want flyer bets? That's a flyer bet. You want him in the top 15, even him in the top. I mean, even in the first round, because if he goes in top 12, Dart's going to get taken in the first round. So there's your over bet for over 3 quarterbacks taken in the draft, over 3.5 for taking in the NFL draft. So if you want to take a flyer, So Austin Matthews to hockey scored number 400 last night. That's in game 628. He is 6 games ahead of Ovi's pace to get to the record. Now, obviously, Ovechkin's not done, but what do you make of Austin Matthews being the next
To get 800 something goals?
to double this?
Yeah, I don't think Austin Matthews is going to be playing that long. Nobody's playing like that long again.
Why not, though? He might. I wouldn't bet it, but why? I mean, it's not impossible. Got to play for another more than a decade.
I don't know.
What's
these
the
guys doing these long careers?
Do you know the record
bigger now? Like,
do you know the record for the number of goals scored by an American? I don't know the answer to that.
Most in a career?
Bobby Hull, right? Or Brett
Is
Hull?
it Mike Madonna?
Was Hull an American or Canadian? I know he played for the Red Wings, but was he a Canadian?
Brett Hull?
Brett
The
Hull, yeah,
son?
sorry. No,
Yeah.
who did Gretzky
Bobby
pass?
Hull was the dad.
Right, who did Gretzky pass? It was Hull, Gretzky, and now Ovi, right?
I don't know.
For who Gretzky passed, put that in the check. I can't remember who because I think it was a Canadian in which Gretzky passed. So the greatest
Gordie
American
Howe.
goal scorer.
Gordie
Howe. Thank
Gordie
you.
Howe
Okay.
was Canadian.
He is Canadian. Okay,
Right.
so who's the greatest American goal scorer?
The guy with the most goals, it's American?
Hull?
I
Brett
don't,
Hull?
I don't know. I thought it
Is
was
it-
Mike Madonna.
Gosh, you should be able to pass him. Well, how many goals does Mike Madonna have?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, without looking.
Well, look. Goals for Mike Madonna, 561. Oh, he's going to get him easy. Madonna's got 571. That's the most by an American?
Yeah.
Yep. He's the all-time goal scoring and point leader among American-born players.
Okay.
Oh, Matthews is going to pass him easy.
I would think so.
He's gonna blow past him.
I would think so. I just don't know if somebody's going to play as long as he's going to be required to play.
Right.
Because you could score more goals in a season. Now, there's guys that are scoring goals close to the pace that it used to be. But like in the 90s, there were multiple like 50 goal scorers. There was and guys scored 38 and 42. And, like when we were doing fantasy hockey, I mean, you had guys that were getting points, goals, and assists. Scoring is down. Goalies are better. And guys in the NHL still play a lot of the games.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to worry about that. I just don't know if he's going to be at 37 and 38 still doing it.
Mm.
And he's a center. So it's a little different than being a wing.
Montreal, if they win tonight, they're in the playoffs.
Blue, blanc, and rouge.
Numbers only minus 125.
I
Why?
know.
Why isn't it higher?
Well, I mean, it's the Hurricanes.
I know, but they don't need it.
They may try to play and keep them out. I don't know.
That's mean. That's
Minus
just mean.
130 and 35 now. A couple
Wow.
places have it
That makes
minus
sense.
140.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I want Montreal to win it. I posted this morning the clip of the game in Montreal
Okay,
from the
that's why.
Four Nations.
There you
Yeah,
go.
the Canes are sitting everyone.
Which
So,
one makes sense? They should sit everybody
They should.
because the Abs freaking suck. Bruins fan.
Of course.
I mean, it is. Again, this is a really weird deal. If you look at it, the fact that the Penguins, the Rangers, and the Bruins are all missing the playoffs. First time ever. This has never happened before.
Yeah.
It's weird for the Canadians to make the postseason and the Bruins not. That's bizarre.
The original 6 teams. This is the first time that you throw in the Bruins, the Rangers, the Blackhawks.
Yeah,
Like,
not making the playoffs.
yeah.
Detroit,
And Detroit.
not
That's
in there.
crazy. So, I don't know. This is
Montreal wins tonight.
I think so.
They win
I
tonight.
think so. I mean, we talked
they
about
look-
it yesterday. Everything that was supposed to happen yesterday, that parlay hit.
Oh, wow.
That parlay hit.
Wow.
So the hockey parlay that we were just kind of messing
Yep.
around with and talking about.
Four-leg
hit.
money line
It all
parlay.
won. Now the Wild made it a sweat,
Mhm.
won it in overtime. Calgary had to come all the way back and win it in a shootout, I think, or in overtime. So They all won. I hope Montreal wins. I really do. I think they will.
First time. Original 6. Chicago, Boston,
Right.
Rangers, Detroit.
That's ridiculous.
It's amazing. First time ever. Never in the postseason.
Yeah.
Wow. Changing the guard in the NHL for sure. If by some crazy thing that Montreal does lose today, Columbus plays the Islanders tomorrow.
For an everything.
Yeah, they have to win. 2 points required. Must get to 2 points. So just keep that in mind.
The story, we'll have to remember that tomorrow. But I mean, the story for Columbus to even be in this position
Is amazing.
It's amazing. The emotion in that
if
building.
they made it, oh my.
Oh man.
How many good jerseys are going to be in that jersey?
Oh man. Oh, be something else. Yeah. The NHL needs an NIT for the non-playoff teams. No, it does not, Joseph C.
My
Myers.
sister just texted me and said, I hear that you're on a hot streak. Josh is her fiance. Josh's mom wants to know if you have any hot bets for her today. What is going on? What is going on? What is my sister doing? No, Maggie, I don't have any bets for you today.
Tell her to go listen to the Juice.
Go listen to the Daily Juice.
Go listen to the Juice. You get another download.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Only one baseball game today really is jumping off the screen. A lot of day games going on right now, so it's not a lot of things you guys can bet on the replay. So I thought we'd just put this game on. Giants, Phillies, series 1-1. Nola, Ray. Your boys in Philadelphia don't like Nola. There's a lot of negativity around him right now. They're ticked off at this guy.
There's a lot of pitch to contact with him.
Okay.
They like the strikeout guys. I mean, and it just Nola makes everything an adventure. So there's a lot of hesitation. There's a hesitation in the market. You know, they're going to play the Giants if they haven't already. Not sure yet, but guys like Ray, left-handers against the Phillies, may neutralize the top guys with Schwarber and Harper. I got to do the baseball work after the show, but don't be surprised to see the Giants be a play. I'm not surprised.
I think it's interesting to see one of the best pitchers. Like 2 years ago, Nola and Wheeler, like they were hanging their hat on those two pitchers.
It was 1 and 2. It was outstanding.
And now they're not. And now it's like when they get the start, it's like, ooh, it's Nola. It's like, what? Like, really? Like he was. I know cliffs happen and guys fall off quickly in baseball, but my gosh, like he's favored here. And I don't love Ray going for the Giants, but this is an overplay, is it not?
I don't know. I mean, the total's 8. I was going to say it might be. The Braves just hit a home run.
Ooh.
Solo shot, 3-1. There goes the shutout. I'm
Drake
amazed by the
Baldwin.
way how many times shutouts happen in baseball. There's been basically a shutout every day. There's a bet. Will there be a shutout? Yes or no? Every day at some books. You can just bet the yes, the way the game is played now. I like the total. I think I like the total for the game under.
Okay.
Yeah.
I only have one bet in baseball that we'll get into in Bet It or Book It that we'll get to at the end of the show.
A's?
No, I can't bet the A's on the road. A's on the road. Ooh, that's scary. A's on the road. That game starts. Well, it starts actually. You know what? Let's do it now because we'll do I like the Padres on the money line here to bounce back and beat the Cubs. Game starts in 15 minutes.
I don't know.
They lost lost 2-1 last night in 10.
Great baseball game.
Great baseball game.
That was a great baseball game.
They should have lost 2-0 because the Cubs Keystone Cops, they dropped 2 foul balls and then Machado went deep. Like, I don't know how you do that, but
Pop up 5 steps from home plate. The catcher don't catch it. The third baseman comes running in and kind of just wings his glove out there. Nobody caught it. And then Machado goes deep. I'm like, they're gonna lose now.
But they didn't. They won 2-1.
They won.
But here coming back, Nick Pivetta tonight. Pivetta lost 7-1 at Chicago against the same kid. It's going tonight for the Cubs or today for the Cubs. Give me the bounce back. Give me the bounce back for the Padres today.
I'd say book it because I like the Cubs.
Okay.
So
Matthew McDonald, is that the kid that's pitching?
Matthew Boyd.
Boyd, thank you.
Yeah.
Pitching for them. Lefty gets taken deep here.
I don't know about the total. But the day game after night game, I didn't see the lineups yet, so I have no idea.
I would say over.
Yeah, depending on the lineup, I'd probably lean under. But again, I don't know yet. So it starts
Cubs are
at
the number
15
one
minutes. So it's 1
Cubs are
o'clock. Good. Okay.
number one over team in baseball.
They hit, man.
Cubs are 13-5-1 to the over.
Steal bases. They're doing all these things.
Yeah.
That would lead them to have long-term sustainable success. I thought the Cubs might not win the division. The Cubs are the favorite to win the NL Central right now. I'm not just saying that because I'm wearing the Chicago stuff, and it's a Chicago, big crowd of people in Chicago like this show. But I think the Cubs are the best team in the division.
Nick Pivetta in 2 starts this year at home for the Padres has given up a grand total of 0 earned runs. So he's been tremendous at home this year. He got hit at Chicago, so they've seen him, but the Padres have seen the guy going for Boyd going for the Cubs. So, and they didn't hit him the first time. I think they'll hit him this time. So, like Padres on the money line coming up for today. So that game does start in like 15 minutes. Just FYI on that. Urban Meyer, we talked about college football and what college football is going to look like.
Man,
Urban Meyer goes out and says that Tennessee is screwed for allowing Nico to walk, saying they should have paid him. That how could you go into the summer and not have a quarterback that's been with you for multiple years? He said, great. You have to play teams like Florida every year. It's great to take a stand. He said, can you imagine going to that game the other way? And the coach says, hey, you went ahead and took a stand. You go to midfield and say, it's okay. I made a stand against this kid when you're getting killed. Screwed. Do you agree? Tennessee is screwed.
Is he his agent?
I don't think he's his agent, but it is interesting to have the other side about this because everyone is so like, screw the kid. He's greedy. He went back on the contract. He wanted $4 million. They offered $2 million. He agreed to it. He was complaining about playing playoff games. Like there's a lot of negative narrative around Nico's decision to try to get more money out of Tennessee. And he may wind up playing at like UAB. By the way, UAB plays at Tennessee this year. So if he does that, that's amazing. But it is interesting to hear the other side of it and go, well, where does Tennessee go from here? If they can't replace him and they're in the SEC, Nico was a pretty good quarterback for them.
Yeah.
What happens then? Like,
I think is Urban's credibility at its highest right now? Like what he says about things? Like
it's a tough point. Yeah, I mean, it's fair. I mean, he's had his problems, but he is still one of the voices that Fox has and ESPN has as a go-to guy.
And again, he coached in major college football and did a short time in the pros, and so he's way more qualified than me to say it. The process is screwed up. The whole thing is screwed up. So is Tennessee screwed? I don't know what else they got. Maybe they got a quarterback that's going to, step up, that they don't have to pay $4 million to.
Right.
And I think people will take the narrative like, well, the kid got greedy. The kid's got bad advice. The kid this, the kid that. You have no idea the situation. You really don't. And again, $2 million sounds great. But if you're getting $2 million and you should have been getting $4 million, $2 million sucks. So, I don't know specifically what it means for Tennessee. I just know the process. If you agree to this, both parties agree, that's what it is. But it's changing so fast. Is Tennessee screwed? Tennessee could get a better guy.
Fair. But it probably won't. Not in April, but probably not. But maybe. I mean, it's possible, I guess, but it's late. It's late to find a starting quarterback in college football. It's not the time you see a quarterback walk away.
Maybe the quarterback is starting. It's already there.
Possible. Yes. Right. Maybe they got.
Why do you have to go get somebody?
Because
it's like a job that you hire from within, or you bring in somebody from outside. Why does somebody from outside always have to be better? What if you got 3 kids that are going to compete like hell, get along, and make the team better on the team?
It's fair. That's not wrong at all. I just wonder if you're looking at SEC football and you're looking at the continuity at the quarterback position, it's very difficult to walk into the SEC, and Big Ten for that matter as well, to transfer in and have a really impactful year in today's sports. Now it's changing dramatically. I'll give that to you. But the quarterback position normally takes some time. Like you can't just like walk in and go like, okay, I'm here. Let's start playing. Normally doesn't work that well for you. So, and look, people in the chat are saying that Nico's offers are under $1 million. So he's losing $1 million. So he should just kept the $2 million that he was getting from Tennessee rather than going to the open market and no one has the money for him because they've already committed their NIL dollars somewhere else. But this is where Todd McShay said it yesterday in the wake of this. And I agree with Todd. And he was like, unless we're all going to take this seriously and start to talk about a collective bargaining agreement in some type of parameters in which it works, how you can do this, you can't just have this be a kid walk into your office and say, I want $4 million. Well, I agreed to 2. Yeah, I want 4. There's no, like in baseball, we have arbitration, right? We've got ways to say how much compensation you're going to wind up getting based upon the performance that you have. So if you outperform your contract, you can then go to arbitration and try to get the money that you're rightfully owed. Well, there's none of that in college football right now. It's all pull out of your ass. Whatever number you want to pull from the sky and walk in and tell the coach you got to get this or you're leaving. Like there's got to be some like we can't just keep going through this because it's getting worse and worse every single like cycle. We're getting more and more stories where now we're talking about holdouts. Pay me or I'm holding out. I don't know. It's not good.
It's professional sports.
And that's what McShay said. So can we
Without
all
the
just
rules.
stop? Can we now call this pro sports? If we're going to call this pro sports, we now need to treat this as such. And
Yeah.
there needs to be protections. There needs to be a CBA. There needs to be a body that's controlling everything, a czar, a commissioner, something.
But it has to be a neutral party.
Fair. Agreed.
It can't be stacked one way or the other. I mean, it's
Nick Saban
because
should be the guy. Like, let's give it like Nick.
either
should be,
way, whomever it is a daunting job. Why would Nick looks like he's really enjoying what he's doing? Trying to make heads or tails of this is going to take out a real pit bull dog in his mid 30s or 40s. Like somebody's going to have to grow into this and age like a U.S. president, where they're going to be completely gray and worn out. This is going to get ugly. This is not easy. It's so Wild West, and there's so much at stake with the TV contracts, and like people love college football.
Yeah.
We've seen it just with our show alone. But I mean, we both love college football. So do a lot of people that watch the show and listen to the show. And again, if you do, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, please, every day. But it's a big job. Nick's like, yeah, I didn't. That's why I got out of coaching. I don't want to deal with this. Think Nick Saban wants to do this? No shot.
I wonder though. I really wonder if you have somebody who's like in their 30s, do they have enough experience to be able to talk to both sides? Like, is Bill Belichick going to listen to you if you're 35 years old?
I don't know what Bill's doing right now. Bill might actually. Bill's in a pretty good spot himself.
Depends what I look like, huh? Okay,
Bill's in a pretty good spot. I would say Bill might. Yes.
If I look like 30, if I look like Jordan in my 30s, okay, fine. Maybe he'll pay attention.
Yeah.
But I can't figure out like the law and the legal and the lawyers of all of this is going to be daunting.
Oh,
to get all of this, like, because everyone's going to feel like they've been wronged in a lot of ways. Like, regardless of what the agreement is, players are going to feel like they didn't get enough. The teams are going to feel like they got taken to the cleaners for whatever reason. The lawyers are going to feel like that no one is coming out a win. Like, you just see it already, like how it's going to play out, that every side's going to have to be willing to take a little bit of a little less than what they think they should get to make this happen, to put these in place, put these rules in place for it to happen. And I don't know who represents the players, because the players only have a certain number of years of eligibility to play.
Right.
That's the problem with this.
Correct.
NFL players, I graduate college. I'm 22 years old. I go get drafted. I'm in the NFL. I might be there until I'm 35.
Right.
I might get 13 years, 15 years in the NFL. Now, some guys average careers 3 years, but that's because you either get hurt, aren't good enough, or whatever it might be.
Right. Yeah.
If they say you keep, hey, I'll keep on paying you. You want a contract? Yeah, I'll do that. I don't want to sell insurance. I'll keep playing football. Well, college kids have eligibility that runs out.
Yep.
You can't stay. Like you can't, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Like, you got to get out.
I mean, they're using the transfer portal against kids now. They're like, hey, just go in the transfer portal because I ain't bringing you back.
Right.
So, and kids are using the transfer portal against coaches. Coach, if I don't play or I don't get this or I don't get that money, I'm going to transfer. Okay. It's a very transactional business relationship now. And it always was. It was just underground, hidden bags, tractors.
Yep.
Whatever, it's blue chips.
Parachutes. Yep.
Literally, the movie Blue Chips was fiction, but it wasn't. And it's come true. So I don't know. I just think that, man, whoever does it is going to have a ridiculously hard job.
Someone's got to be respected by all sides, which is going to be hard, which is why I think Saban is the guy. You need someone who's got rings, championship weight, been around the game for a long time, but can still relate to younger players, has the time to do it. Just something to do.
Once it's determined, there's a framework that, like, if you're a guard and you're playing at a school, a top-notch school, your salary is $2 million. Like, that's the top you can get. You can get less, but you can't get more.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, it's crazy, but you got to establish what the prices are, and then everybody can play by the rules.
Fair. I think that's right.
And if you can get more by being a really media savvy kid, some big social media following that you bring to the table, you get your own side deals that are your own. That's what the NIL was supposed to be for, not a salary cap to play college sports. Your pay was your scholarship, your dorm situation, your food, training table, all that's out the window.
It's funny because we'll get to the Kalshi story here next, but Title IX creates the biggest problem for that to become a reality.
Yeah.
So, because you can't be Title IX compliant to do that. So Title IX might need to be reworked in some form or fashion for this, and that takes the Supreme Court, and that takes a whole different case and litigation and everything else that comes in. Because it's similar to Kalshi with the Wire Act that we'll get to here in a second, that you have an overarching, pre-decided case that will make it difficult for anyone to come up with that number.
I did my senior paper in this communications class in 1993 on Title IX, because one of the issues why the Penn State club hockey team couldn't be a Division I program was because there wasn't a woman's sport to match it and make it. So everybody was like, you can't make hockey a D1 sport until you bring another sport on, for Title IX. That was 1993. It's 2025. And
we're still arguing.
You're right. It's still going to be an issue.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's going to be a big
This
issue.
is like the legal portion of the show, boys and girls. You might need a law degree to continue with this.
Well, our Kalshi guy, Tariq Mansour, he's back. CEO comes out, goes back on LinkedIn, his favorite part, talking about what happened, posted this on Monday, talking about Rory McIlroy and the fact that it was the first time that fans could legally live trade the Masters in all 50 states. That's a very interesting word there, legally. Okay. And wow, was it active? The 25 Masters is one of the most volatile in recent memory. Swings in the leaderboard drove nonstop trading. Kalshi saw over 86 million in trades this weekend. That's 3 times more than the Super Bowl. But here's what was surprising to us the most. A large share of users told us that they only watched the Masters because they had a, quote, position on it.
Nice word.
Not bet, by the way, a position.
Yep.
A position on it.
Mm-hmm.
That read like something from 2018, Dave. What we're now back to having conversations about, wow, people like to bet. Like people like to put money down on sporting events.
Yeah.
That's a little strange. But then he ended it in an even more odd way, because he goes, this two-way dynamic where the event drives the market activity and the market drives deeper engagement with the event is just getting started.
Oh,
Thanks. I didn't realize that was
Really?
happening in America. We are
really?
seeing the birth of a new feedback loop between watching and trading. Is this guy serious?
Yep.
Like, what the hell are we doing? And he ends it by saying,
Hold on, you're frozen. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, you're frozen. I'll read it. I'll read the
ahead.
last sentence. Prediction markets are the future of news, including sports news. Wow.
how is
Wow.
gambling news?
Wow.
Wait, what?
We need music. We need some crescendo for this. I mean, we got to get Tariq on the show. This is so good. This is betting makes sports more engaging.
Wow, didn't know that. Like there's an op-ed that got written by Adam Silver that started the whole thing with New Jersey's march with PASPA and our friends that we knew that were involved and guys who've been on this show that have got like what this is like you're discovering the atom in 2025. Like you think you've just found this? like,
I mean,
hold on.
he's doing a good job of selling it like he is.
I
Like,
guess so.
This is great. Breaking news. Betting on sports for some people make it more engaging. Now, for other people, it's the only reason to watch sports.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They would not watch
Wow.
the Blue Jays and the Braves this afternoon unless they had the under, or they had Strider strikeouts, or they had Vladimir Guerrero's to hit a home run. But they did because they had it. We did land on the moon, JPC the fourth. It's true. Apparently.
I just, yes, its position is a bet without calling it a bet. Absolutely.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
that's just another term.
Yes.
That's investor
Legal
guide.
advice. That's somebody legally advising him saying, hey, you should probably stop using the word bet. Like stop saying the word bet.
Yeah.
Because if you say the word bet, it doesn't really look all that great to do that. And there's been a lot of really interesting looks because Forbes put out a really wild article yesterday, and it was written, I think it was written by our lawyer friend.
Wallach.
It wasn't written by Wallach, about how the Wire Act, old 1961 Wire Act, that I had to deal with when I was working at the Palazzo in the Venetian, because they were worried about the Wire Act, and they told me that I could not say Dave's live line. So when Dave was at CG, we didn't know each other, but Dave would go ahead and put the line up at CG. I was not legally allowed to say what the line move was. I had to wait for the game to start, and then I could talk about the live act. And I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever had to be told to do, because they were worried that my national radio show was in violation of the Wire Act.
The Wire Act was the reason that phones weren't allowed in sports books. And people almost getting in fights when people started, to be able to have a phone and be on in a sports book. Like security that would be almost like a, not a fireable offense, like a death penalty.
I almost
offender.
got tackled at
It was bad.
Where was I? I was at
Palms
MGM property. No, it's an MGM property.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one I was at, but I took a picture, I was in the book taking a picture, but not of the board. Right. Somebody was just in front of the board, and I took a picture of it. And the guy came over and said, give me your phone.
Yep.
I said, what do you mean, give me my phone? He said, give me your phone. I go, I'm not giving you my phone. He goes, and I'm 86 and you off the property. I go, I'm not giving you my property. What did I do? He goes, and show me your phone and delete the picture right now. It's like, wait, what? He goes, open your phone, go to the picture, hit delete. Okay, go ahead, hit delete. Fine, you can stay. Why? You can't take pictures of the board. I wasn't taking a picture of the board. Yeah, the board was in the background, though.
Yeah. Some people took it a little too
far.
Yeah.
Little too far.
This was a problem. This was a big problem in the book. And you should tell security guys, like, it's okay.
Calm down.
It's going to be okay. But then when it became a thing, you know, we couldn't say a lot of things unless we were doing an interview or something. And when we first started doing interviews from the book or talking about gambling information, at first it was only a Vegas thing because it was only in Vegas. But then when PASPA was really going to pass, or Silver wrote that op-ed in 2015 before it passed to just get the ball rolling, it became a little more acceptable. But then there were rules. You couldn't say the lines. You couldn't say what it, close this and that. I was like, well, that's what people are asking. Like, what does it matter? They can look in the paper.
Meetings. I sat in meetings and I said, explain this to me like I'm 5.
Yeah.
You think that me telling a live line over national radio is going to somehow compromise your business? Well, no, we're just very concerned that somebody in law in the law might find it to be a loophole to press charges against the corporation. And Sands has a lot of enemies around the country.
Right.
And I was like, you think this is the reason? They're like, well, no, but we have to be careful. Like, so just please don't do it. And so for the first year and a half of being at Legacy Stadium, I was not legally allowed to say, like, a big injury news would happen.
Right.
And the line, you guys would change the line.
Yep.
And it would be on the board. You see the line move. It would go from like -2 to -5.
Mm-hmm.
I had to wait for the game to start. And then I could say, well, the line actually moved 30 minutes prior. The line moved from -2 to -5, because this was also back before live betting was a big thing. So the game went off. There wasn't so much live betting going on. So that was okay. And they were all right with the Wire Act not being violated.
It was crazy. Like now, back then we would take pictures of the sheets and like send a sheet picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pulled aside because I was trying to communicate to people via social media. So I would do that. And they're like, you can't do that no more. I'm like, it's a still piece of paper with lines on it that aren't live. This is what it opened. This is what we had. I'm promoting the business. Like,
Sorry.
This is what part of the Wire Act am I violating or could be violating? You get the legalese description, and then you get, the marketing guide description. They're very different. What he's doing is just putting it out there, and he's doing it. Today, they opened up with a full board of Major League Baseball. They're going to have a full board of NHL hockey when the playoffs start. 100%. They're going to have I didn't look today for the basketball, but they're going to have. They have the basketball games.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so it's not just future markets.
Oh, no. It's single game markets. It's single game, which was always like the hook for DFS and whatnot. It was like,
right.
Oh, well, we don't do single game. We have to do multiple game. You can't do no, you can do a single game contract.
Yeah.
And because they know what the CFTC is going to rule. And so they're telling literally the government to sue the CFTC. Like, you want to go after somebody, go after them. Don't go after us. And people are saying, okay, well, wait a minute. Aren't you in violation of the Wire Act? Isn't this technically a violation when you're, and then saying, well, then they're saying, well, everyone's doing that. Oh, well, if everyone's doing that, then you're betting. Then you're like everybody else. So which is it? So like, they're trying to get them into kind of like a pretzel here because they want them to admit that they're betting. In reality, what they should just do is go and pay for a license and go in through the channels that are already there.
They don't have to do that.
They don't want to do that, but they might be forced to do that. That might be the simplest solution for everybody, is to say, hey, look, you have to.
What state would they do it in?
Well, it could be federal. It could be, they might say, hey, you can't do this. It must be done individually in each state. You cannot operate. Each state gets to determine whether or not you get to operate in their state. The cease and desist will be held up unless you go to each state and do a deal with each state.
Yeah, but these first preliminary discussions, nothing was held up.
No, but if you read the report, and that's what that LinkedIn post that I sent to you last night says, by the appellate lawyer who was arguing in front of the Supreme Court, the way he reads it is the judge is hesitant to get involved at all.
Right.
So
nobody does want to get involved.
Judge is like, I don't want to rule on this because this is going to, there is a domino effect for my ruling. So when I rule in Nevada, it's going to impact all these other states. So he wants to hear
impact the entire industry and country.
He wants to know, if I rule, how does it hurt Nevada? If I rule, how does it hurt Kalshi? And then he's going to make a determination based upon how much damage it'll do for him to rule. So it's not that Kalshi won. They're claiming they won. They didn't win anything.
The judge temporary stay.
The judge is petrified that if he does something in Nevada here, that it's going to have a massive
for a waterfall, gigantic, like it might as well be Lake Mead Hoover Dam.
Correct.
Level of knock that down.
And I appreciate that. To be quite honest, I appreciate that I'm not going to go haphazard and start swinging away. I want to know if I rule this way, I want to know what's going to happen. So you guys in Nevada, tell me what happens to you if I rule this way. You guys at Kalshi, if I rule this way, what happens to you?
Right.
How does this impact your business? How does this impact your lives? And for Nevada, it's pretty easy. Hey, these guys are taking business and they're circumventing all of our laws. Like they're going around. This is an end around that everyone's going to do. Every book here in town is going to do this, and we're going to lose all control over the gaming regulated industry. If you say, yes, this is legal, everyone does this, and we're back to being the wild, wild west in Nevada again. So I like the guy taking his time.
It has to be. It has to be that way. It can't be any other way. There's too much dollars. There's too many things at stake. And you made it a state thing. And now if you're going to make a federal thing and trump everything, no pun intended, you do whatever you want.
Right.
Get us out of here and get us to bonus time.
You guys are watching live. Don't move. Bonus time's hitting you here on the other side. If you're on the replay, true. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. Hope you guys back tomorrow for another episode of BVB. For the rest of you guys, bonus time.
The fucking balls on the whole thing. Like, no joke. It's got people asking a lot of good questions, concerned for the whole industry. I mean, if I was running a small legal book right now, I'd be like, what are we doing? They're going to kill us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The implied federal regulation of sports wagering is what was written on for Forbes by Wallach, and I thought it was really interesting that that's essentially what we have had here with Kalshi, saying the upshot of last week's Nevada federal court order finding that Congress preempted Nevada's entire sports gaming regime by implicating when it vested the Commodity Future Trading Commission with exclusive jurisdiction under Section 2 of the Commodities Exchange Act. No, that's a lot. All over contracts traded CFTC design exchanges. Basically, everybody said, wait, what? Like, what did you do? Because the Wire Act says that any unlawful act under federal or state law or gaming, you can't do that. It's gaming. The CFTC said it prohibited those things as well because it's part of the Wire Act.
I feel like this Wire Act twist is like a new twist. Like
it's an awesome loophole to get everybody out of this. Personally, I think it's a great. I think the judge might go, well, I already got that, so we're good. Like everyone's trying to punt on this because they know who's at play here. Because don't put it past the DOJ that if Donald Trump Jr. doesn't get what he wants out of this, and this doesn't go the way they want it to go, and it starts to get negative, the head of the CFTC was from Kalshi. Okay, they're all in bed together. If this gets gummed up by a judge, and the judge is going to do something that might be perceived as outside the realm of his jurisdiction, overreach, it's going to get ugly. And so I don't think any judge wants to be a part of that at the moment because they want to try to find a simple solution.
I see you keep saying Nevada will go after them. So what? So what does that mean? The judge will be paid? I mean, like what does that mean?
What does that mean?
So Nevada will go after them. So is New York going to go after them? Like at some point, like it's gonna change the industry. It already is.
Unless they come back and say the Wire Act is already there. Like the Wire Act covers everything on this and makes says Kalshi's behavior is already illegal because of the Wire Act, and that the CFTC has said in their own language that gaming is prohibited. They don't call themselves gaming. That's what the big thing is they're claiming that they are not gambling, that this is an exchange. This is not gambling. Well, the contract that you're signing for a single game with the Kings -5 tonight sure as fuck looks like gambling. Like, sorry.
I mean, it's the question of it is gambling. I mean, it is a book. It is all the above. But if Nevada fights it like they did or have with DraftKings and FanDuel, DraftKings and FanDuel said, we don't need Nevada. We'll go do it everywhere else. So Nevada fights Kalshi and wins. Okay.
Right. Without help,
Kalshi's going to figure out a way to do it without Nevada.
Fair, I'll give you that. But then Mass, I mean, remember, there's 6 states that have cease and desist orders currently pending.
Yeah.
So, and the biggest 2 haven't really gotten involved yet. California and Texas really haven't gotten involved with them yet.
I'm fascinated. I mean, it's Ruddock, who we had on yesterday. Go back and watch the show. You know, if you want to hear what Steve Ruddock said, he writes that straight to the point newsletter. Has created a Kalshi corner of his newsletter, just because of the amount of crap that is on the way.
Well, they're trying to fundamentally alter and legalize sports gambling for all 50 states without having it be determined by anybody. I mean, this is not, no one voted for this. We're not passing a bill. We're not going through Congress. We're not going to the president. What?
It's not regulated this way either. It's
What
not
is it?
regulated.
What's not? The
If they do
CFTC?
it this way?
I
No.
mean,
The CFTC is regulating it after the fact. Like,
correct. Yes.
there's no one having meetings and talking about what are you going to do? How do you do this?
As Alex Kane told us, the CEA, the Commodities Exchange Act, never intended for any of this. This is not what they intended it to be. So we need to repeal that. You're going to make this a very political topic because people are going to start to really pay attention to this, because it's going to impact a lot of states that have legalized sports betting at the moment, that it might look very different very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex has been very outspoken about the idea that the Kalshi model should be allowed, that it's important because it's better. It's pro-consumer versus like New Hampshire, which is one book in one state, which he finds to be anti-American, which I get the point he's making with that. But I don't think you should reward somebody for circumventing the laws and going around everything and they get rewarded for this. I'm not okay with that. Like, that's just not something I'm comfortable with. There is a path for all this to happen. And to tell everybody I'm peeing on you and it's raining, guys, don't worry. Like, we know what you're doing. Like, I can look up and see you. I know what you're doing. So let's stop saying we're not gambling, we're not gaming, we're something else, when you're offering legitimate single game bets. Like every other book today has the Bulls -2. So do you. You have the Bulls -2. That's betting. Like, don't care what it is. It's a spade on these situations.
I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to do this Kalshi thing. I don't need any more apps on my phone. I don't need any more of this. I don't need any more of that. But I'm going to have to do it and see what they're doing and just understand it from a market maker standpoint, from a daily, what are they offering standpoint? Because, I mean, they called it prediction markets and said they were going to offer futures. And I thought, okay, that's
Right.
something, whatever.
Different.
Right. Today, when I get the text from the boys that, look, this looks like a board. Looks just like the board at the book down the street.
And wait till they figure out a way to parlay it.
Oh,
Wait till they figure out parlays. That's next.
That goes against their argument. That goes against their argument.
Single game goes against their argument too.
Well, no, it's a prediction market. It's a yes or no. That makes it okay.
Yeah.
Well, now
I can do 5 things in a row. It's yes or no. Will this hit? Yes or no? Here are 5.
Yeah, but you have to have all these different outcomes. It's not a yes or no. Now there's 25 outcomes. When you do a 3-game parlay, there's 9 outcomes. 1 is good, 8 lose. So that's not technically what they got into the business saying they were doing.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's fascinating. It's an industry thing. I don't know if we're nerding out, but I think it has major implications and impact for people that have been doing this for a long, long time. In
both sides of the
places.
counter. It's got
Both
major
sides of the
implications
counter.
on both sides of the counter.
I'm looking at it, again, through the offshore guy's eyes, because there's guys been down there that have been fighting, like going to jail and doing all this stuff for many, many years, just booking the games. Just want to book the games, not screwing anybody. Just knowing we're going to do it because that's what we do.
Right.
Let people bet and have been in hiding and unable to come back to the United States for a visit, worrying about getting pinched and all this other stuff. You know, guys have been booking out of a, barbershop or a laundromat or all this time. And these guys just turn a word around and say it's a prediction market and say, we got the guy on the board. Let's just do it until they tell us we can't. It's fascinating.
And who's going to enforce it?
Another good question.
Who's going to enforce it? So that's the other problem, is even if the court does come down and says this is illegal, who's enforcing it? Because we have a lot of questions right now as to, courts can say a lot, but if no one's going to enforce it, then it doesn't really matter. It's just words on paper. It's a ruling. Great. It doesn't mean anything.
And right. What power does it have to be enforced? We can go knock on the door. Stop.
I guess you cease and desist orders. I guess it's up to each individual state, but I mean, I'd be very curious how Mass in New Jersey, in New York, in Pennsylvania, and how do these states in the Northeast handle this going forward? It's going to be, we're not done. we got a ways to go with this story. Not by any means. Better to book it. All right, plays on both games. Bulls -1. It's 2 now. I played 1 last night. I think Chicago stays perfect tonight up against the Heat.
I'll say bet it. I don't know how much of this game I'm going to watch, but
this game will be better than the Magic Hawks game.
I think so.
This game will be closer than that. And this is ultimately a game 7. Like, losers, season's over.
Right.
So this is not like I get to play one more game. No, you lose this game, your season's over. So same thing can be said for the Kings. I'm laying 4.5 with the Kings. Mavericks. That report, by the way, was a fake Shams account that people were getting tricked by. I saw it numerous people retweeted it. It's got a guy. If a fake Shams account has 16,000 followers, something's wrong. Like, that's just wrong. You can't have 16,000 followers for a fake Shams account. That sucks. People
There's
get burned.
a lot of accounts that are fake, that this and that. Like, it's
sucks.
crazy. I used to love going on and seeing, people's posts and stuff. It's getting tough to even open. I don't even, because you don't know what to believe. If you guys follow us on Twitter, you'll always be able to believe us, and we thank you for that. And if you respond, I appreciate it. Just don't respond with crap. I just don't have time for it. So that's a shame that's crap.
Yeah.
Let's go win one for Nico tonight.
Good luck.
No, this is probably another bet.
1, 2, 3, Cancun. Mavs can't wait to get on a plane and get the hell away from each other for a long time.
Yep.
Favorite thing about today is what?
So I had another tremendous conversation with my daughters last night, and so I'm going there next week. I'll be in New Jersey Tuesday through Saturday, possibly around the Meadowlands area, possibly in Philadelphia. I'll let you guys know via socials if we're going to get together or do something.
Oh, good.
But it's really, really refreshing to know there's a lot of people going through a lot of shit. I say that all the time. You never really know. But when you take the time to actually listen, talk to people, and learn things, you can, if nothing else, help just by listening. And my favorite thing about today is that I am still very happy and blessed to be, 1, alive, but 2, able to have that relationship with my daughters as they get older. So just a really, really, really good conversation about life and about things. And, they got decisions to make. Just being a college kid is not easy, and I'm sure there's a lot of people talking to this Nico kid. That's just an example.
Breaking news.
What?
He's going to UCLA.
Oh.
Family is claiming it was not about the money, why he was arguing. They say it was about the offense for Tennessee. They didn't like the offense. They're changing the narrative.
Well,
so
Either way, he
But
got the
UCLA.
cash.
He's
and
in your conference now.
Okay.
So
So
he's your problem now.
that's great. But like there's a lot of things that those kids have to decide. So
Yeah.
before you say certain things or this or that, you always have to understand what the other person's going through. That's my point. My favorite thing about today is that you can disagree, you just have to listen. That's it.
Hard for a lot of people to do that though.
Oh, yeah.
Hard for a lot of people. Doug Franz, one of my co-hosts or co-workers from years. He's been on this show. We worked him at
Yeah.
Props in Arizona. Had the line that I've stolen from my own daughter all the time about whenever you're listening with your mouth, meaning
Right.
you're just talking. You're not using your ears. You're just talking. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're just talking back. And it's a great line. I was like, yep, that's true. It's like whenever someone's really agitated or really upset, they're not spending the time to stop and listen. And that's an art. I mean, it's a learned trait. I'm 48. Took me a long time to learn how to do it. And it's sometimes it's better just to shut up. You learn a lot sometimes just shutting up. Let them talk. Just go,
Yeah.
okay, and see what they say. Because sometimes they tell themselves, and it's like, oh, there we go. Okay, that's good to know. I learned about it.
Sometimes, especially them kids, like our daughters at the ages they're at, and you guys know that have kids in their early teens or through
Yeah.
teenage years, they say some crazy shit. But sometimes they teach you something.
Right? True.
Kids,
Very true.
sometimes they do know.
For me, that was having Debro on. That was really fun to have him on, and we'll have him on in the future in the NFL season once we get to the start of the year and whatnot. So that was fun to get him on. So we enjoyed that. Guys, we're back tomorrow, same place, same time for us. Hope to see you all here for Thursday.
Did you really not plan to wear the uniform?
That was just, I wore it because I knew he was coming on. So I didn't think he'd wear it too. I was just like, I'm going to wear it for you because it's not even the Big Pros, it's a Fancy Pros thing. So I was like, I'll wear it for you. So I was like, and so I didn't think he'd be wearing it too. Like I don't have much Betting Pro stuff. I've got like this, and I've got that behind me, but that's all I got for Betting Pros and hats. But I don't wear juice hats here. We wear PVV hats here. So and then I wore that for him, and then he wore the same thing. So matching outfits, which is pretty damn good. That was funny as hell. Back tomorrow, same place, same time, everybody. Hope to see you all. Remember, Thursday, Friday, and then we're off for 2 weeks. So you got to make sure, special roll call Friday, make sure you're here for Friday for sure. Dave, Matt, back tomorrow for a Thursday's beat.